one thing that I had written out, and I'm not going to, everybody pretty much covered it. So Michael never got yelled at because Mom saved that for me. Michael was her golden boy, and she always told us that. I'm going to share one story that involves this service family and this service family. So I'm 2 years behind Michael in high school, and I'm missing a class for history. And at that time, it was, the schedule at John Marshall was like a 7-day schedule. So one of the teachers, Mr. Pivy, said, if you're missing something, raise your hand. Raise my hand. Service, Michael Frank. I said, Mike, and he puts his arm around me, he says, you're coming with me. At the end of the year, he said, you sure you're not Frank's sister? But I always looked at Mom as determination. I mean, whatever she set out to do, she was going to do. It didn't matter what the odds were of her achieving, that she would achieve. And I remember when she got that Social Security check every month, she took 4 envelopes and she cashed it and she put the money in each envelope. And if she ran out in the week prior, too bad. You know, we did without until the next week. There was a couple of stories, I'm sorry. So the older brothers and sisters, as they did, they took care of us after Daddy was gone. Now, I wasn't as good of a child as Michael, and being 2 years behind him, I had more guidance from our older brothers and sisters, and Mary-Elaine was like my disciplinarian. So I would ask Mom if I could go somewhere, and she would say, sure, as long as it's okay with Mary-Elaine. And so I would ask Mary-Elaine, and she would say no, and I wouldn't be allowed to go. So Mary-Elaine and Nikki superseded Mom's, they were a little tougher on me. Yeah. Mom always said she didn't have to yell at Michael, so she saved it for me. There was another story that I can remember, Mom, when I said she was determined. We all went through college, each and every one of us. Edna chose not to. She was already out of high school, but before Daddy was killed. But Mom, I can see her sitting on the table, filling out over and over every application for any scholarship, any grant. It didn't matter what it was. She'd be sitting at that dinner table after dinner filling them all out. And every one of us made it and went through school, and it was because of her. When I said she was determined, she made sure that we were determined to finish everything we started. When I was a sophomore in high school, we were all pretty good athletes, and I had done very well in track, but it stressed me out. So it had stressed me out to the point that I had told Mom at the end of the season, I don't think I'm going to go out for track next year. And she said, well, you'll find a new place to live. So this is just how it was. This is how it was. You were going to do whatever you were good at so that you could get to the next level. And I had a lot more to say, but we're on time and everybody else has pretty much said everything. But my brothers and sisters, without this family, and we are who we are because of Mom keeping us together, but Nikki and Mary-Elaine and Edna was a vital part of that for the 4 of us. Uncle Teddy's family being in there. Mary and Nikki and Edna had their close cousins. Well, Uncle Teddy's family was our close cousins, and Zoe, because we were the same age. They had theirs, and we had, and it shows in support for them being here. So, thank all of you for coming. We didn't know if it would just be our family, and so you overwhelmed us with everyone being here. And she is smiling from ear to ear. She has already visited me. She brought me the snow. I love snow, and I never get any. And within 24 hours, I mean, right after she's passing, it started snowing, and I knew she brought it for me.
How about the light?
Oh, so I will tell you the story. Within Mom died Thursday night. We're all day Friday, crazy busy with making arrangements, and we have a street light, as I've already said, in our backyard. It's over the basketball court, and it's always on. And as soon as it's dark, it's on. When I come home after being at Teddy's, after we finished up at Teddy's for that night, and first of all, it's snowing, and I'm just thrilled that it's snowing. And I walk in the house, and I had a little breakdown, and so I went out on the back porch, and the street light is just blinking off and on. That street light's never blinking. And the backyard is covered in the most gorgeous snow, and the crystals are shining all through the yard. there's this one crystal, this snowflake between the two trees, and it was brighter than any star I've ever seen shining, and it was glistening. And I know it was Mom telling me, I'm here with you, because I was having a hard time. And that was her saying, you know, she's right here in her little cottage, and she's there to help. The next morning, I get up, and I was in the bathroom, I look on the floor, and I find a feather. And you always hear all these stories about how recent passings and their signs. I didn't have anything with feathers in the house. I didn't have any of Mom's newest friends visiting. You know, there were no raccoons, there were no pigeons, but here's a feather on the floor. And I had to keep it. I knew it meant something. And then Michael sent me a couple little inserts that he found online about the flashing lights. It's the only way that they know how to communicate once they have passed. And the feather and the different cultures and what it meant. And all of a sudden, I mean, I had divine intervention just smacking me across the face. So I know she's with us, and she would have been, she's thrilled that we're right here. This is her, she'd be very proud. As Michael said, she would be very proud. And she would be proud of everyone here for taking the time to come visit. Thank you.